this be Tellurian's time to shine? Hey, a few years ago, Sharif Suki, he's the guy who practically invented the liquefied natural gas export business in the United States, created Tellurian to invest in natural gas transportation infrastructure. We produce way too much natural gas in this country. He taught us that, too, to the point where a great deal of it just gets burned off or flared because it's cheaper than paying for storage. But this stuff is very valuable overseas. It's just that there's no easy way to ship it overseas. After all, it's gas. That's why we have all these liquefied natural gas terminals popping up. You need to turn it into liquid before you can transport it across the ocean. I've long been a believer in this business, maybe the second person after Sharif Suki himself. But for a while, it seemed like not much was happening at Tellurian, which is why the stock's been range-bound single digits. Earlier this year, though, the company got government approval to build an LNG export terminal in Louisiana. 2 months ago, the Energy Department gave them permission to sell the stuff. Finally, just yesterday, Tellurian finalized a huge investment with Total, the gigantic French energy company, which has catapulted the stock higher. Could this have more room to run? Let's take a closer look with one of our favorite guests. Let's go to Sharif Suki. He's the chairman of Tellurian to learn more about these developments and where his company is headed. Mr. Suki, welcome back to Mad Money. Sharif, it's great to see you as always.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Sharif, even as recently as 2 days ago, I would have started the interview by saying, when are you going to line up a big international oil company? You got one of the biggest, didn't you?
Yesterday.
And how much money did they put in?
The total will be about $900 million. So they're going to do 3 things. They're going to invest directly in the project $500 million. They are going to purchase an additional 1.5 million tons, so roughly 300 million a day, that they will pay for based on Asian prices. And then they're going to make a further investment in Tellurian of $200 million. As you know, they've already made a $200 million investment at a $10 price.
That's incredible. And it is the validation, again, you did tell us that there's tremendous demand. The other day, there was an article in the New York Times that says, Israel's energy dilemma, more natural gas than it can use or export. Part of the problem is time. It says, just as Israel's prepared to produce and export large amounts of gas, the United States, Australia, Qatar, Russia are flooding the market with cheap gas.
Well, cheap gas would create more demand. So for Israel,
small country,
the best solution for them is to find a way to do business with their neighbors, because there's a tremendous amount of demand and necessity for gas in the area, and you can sell the gas very profitably in the area, and they have some nice resources. That's an added piece of leverage they have in the negotiations with their various neighbors. But they're already doing business with the Jordanians and the Egyptians.
But you're not concerned that maybe they get a pipeline up to Europe and some of your European customers, prospective European customers, don't want?
So a few weeks ago, you had Scott Sheffield here.
Yeah, wasn't he dynamite?
He was great. And he's one of my favorites, and I've been talking to him regularly. He's rarely been wrong. And on your show, he said that the Permian Basin oil production is going from 4 million barrels a day to 8 million barrels a day. That means there is 25 BCF of gas that can be given away for free. So I'm not concerned about anything. I'm concerned about stopping flaring in the Permian Basin, get the gas on the water, and put it on ships, and you can be on the water for less than $2. So there is no competition for us out there. We just have to build the infrastructure.
Is this not one of the great natural resources our country has? And you are putting to work, what? And you have a nice slide about all the, 6,000 construction workers right now?
Yes,
you are putting to work in this country. Yes. It's got to be, once again, like the last one you're doing, one of the largest construction projects in the country.
It will be, yes.
It will be. Now, are you able to talk to about how you're bringing all that natural gas? Some people feel there's not enough pipeline, but you're solving that problem, too.
Well, I think people are right, but you can count on other people to do things for you. So this time around, since we're in a commodity business now, LNG has become a commodity. You have to be in the top quartile in terms of your cost structure. And if you are in the top quartile in a commodity business, you will do very well. But in order to do that in the United States today, we know we have very, very cheap gas in more than one area. And what we need to do is build the pipeline infrastructure to bring the gas to the coastline, and then build the liquefaction to expose it to global prices.
Even if we get the pipelines down to Mexico, we'll still have enough cheap natural gas?
We're not talking about the same thing. Mexico is not going to be consuming 25 BCF a day. Okay, we're talking about an enormous amount of
and
gas.
Asia still needs it more than ever?
It's a different scale. We're talking about something totally different. I don't even think that the Permian Basin producers have understood what it is that they're holding.
I mean,
Because if they don't do something with the gas, they will not produce the oil.
right.
The idea that we can continue to flare forever and to become the world's largest flarer is not realistic.
No.
We are now number 4. We passed Nigeria. The club is Russia, Iraq, Iran, the United States. At the pace that we grew flaring last year, we're going to be number 2 next year and number 1 in 2 years.
That's amazing.
That's just not acceptable. So Mexico is going to take it's a very, very small piece of what it is that we're going to produce.
Okay, now the old business model, because you talk about the commodity, you actually deride your old business model. You say, Cheniere, developer incurs risk. Here you own the infrastructure. Better investment at this point for the people who are watching the show.
I'm not deriding anything. I think it was the right business plan for
that moment.
For that moment. That moment has gone. You now have to go to the next level and adapt to the situation today.
Okay, now you have never, I mean, this is an unbelievable thing, but you've never been wrong predicting the price of oil, and everyone else has. Oil staying the same around here?
I think...
Remember, you've never been wrong, but
okay, so what I'm going to tell you now is I'm comfortable in the band, but I think the risk on both sides is intolerable.
Intolerable?
Yes. So it makes it very hard to make a bet in one direction or the other.
Do we care about a hurricane, Hurricane Barry?
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the fact that...
You were like, I'm a big thinker, but you have said 4 different times that I'm a small thinker.
No, I haven't said that. So what I'm thinking now is that the Permian Basin has become the swing producer in the world.
Okay.
And therefore, what happens in America matters more than what happens at OPEC.
Well, all these things that have happened, you have predicted. Mr. Sheffield did too. I'm glad you mentioned him. You two have been the most right of anyone on the show. Congratulations. Congratulations on this new company, which is doing incredibly well, and on that Total investment. That's Sharif Souki, he's the chairman of Tellurian. Wow. Always great to see you, sir. Mad Money, be right back.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.